Well, look at me. I look like I'm being interrogated on television. I expect, there'd be a city background here. And people will be, asking me questions like, Cassidy, what do you think of the current socio-political incidents that are occurring in Rwanda? Well, I don't know. Christ, I'm so tired of McAfee. I wish it would just go away. I'm going to remove it from my computer. Hi there. Yeah, you know who this is. And today I am down to my local Panera, local for Indiana. This is one I used to come to all the time. And I'm getting in a few more visits before I depart. It is Wednesday. I will be here today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then Saturday I'm heading back to Harrisburg. Whoops. Sorry about that. Wiping my screen off, yes. Yes. So I'm hoping the noise level is not too bad. I was actually going to do this outside, but decided against it. I thought that I'd have a lot of road noise I'm picking up. Plus, it's very sunny outside, and sunny means you're going to get hot fast, and I'm not in the mood to get hot and sweaty right now. No, so, but I have my coffee. So what's up? Well, plenty. Yesterday I took a trip to Indianapolis. I saw my therapist face to face. First time in 2 years. I think the last time we spoke was about 1.5 years ago on Skype. And she was complimenting my appearance and everything else. She thought I was coming along quite nicely. Thank you. I'll probably post a photo of her up later, just so everybody can get an idea of what she looks like. But she has been my therapist for 5 years now, and by therapist I mean my gender therapist. So as I like to say, she's the woman who helped me become this woman. And it was a long drive down. There was road construction the entire way. It was a real pain in the butt. Didn't care for it at all. I got there with 15 minutes to spare, which allowed me to use the bathroom, and then wait for her. And then I had to drive home. So needless to say, I was tired, ended up taking a 2-hour nap, which means I didn't go to bed until about 2 a.m. this morning, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to sleep in a little bit. No, it was 5:45 when I woke up. So I got just under 4 hours of sleep, probably closer to about 3.5. God, I hate that. Ever since coming here, my sleep schedule is just completely bonkers. It's totally whacked out. I'm not digging it at all. In a way, I'm almost glad to be getting back to Harrisburg, so maybe I can get on a normal schedule. That must be a buzzer going off. Okay, turn it off. There you go, thank you. Yes, the hazards of doing a broadcast early in the morning, out in public. Booyah. Anyway. I also finished the current scene I was working on. It only took me 2 nights to finish it. That's because both times I wrote over 1,000 words. First night I wrote 1,040 words. Last night I wrote 1,070 words. So, do the math, 2,100 words and some change there. So it was quite an interesting, little scene. And I'm sure there's some people who'd say, you don't really need to include it, but you know me, I include the kitchen sink. So I'm probably going to start on the last scene of chapter 13 tonight. I already know what that's going to be. It'll be a nice, quiet, intimate scene between Annie and Carrie. And after I'm done with that, we get into chapter 14, we get into chapter 15, and we get into chapter 16. And chapter 14 is the start of the Samhain races. It's not going to start out nicely. Let me just put it that way. It's not going to be nice. I'm kind of like steeling myself to write it because I already know what I'm going to say, and it's kind of some nasty stuff. I hate it when I do that to my kids. Nah, I don't. If I hated doing it, I wouldn't do it. But there's an interesting tidbit that'll be in this scene, the scene that I'm going to start excerpting, which I'll probably do tomorrow, and then I'll probably set up another excerpt to auto-generate on Saturday, because I intend on getting on the road early. So I'm going to be driving a lot. But you find out what Carrie really wanted to do to Frankie. And it wasn't nice. He actually was planning something a lot nastier than what he ended up doing, and that was basically because he was burnt, he was hurt, he had a broken arm. If he was none of those, Frankie would have been in bad shape. It wouldn't have boded well for Mr. Smith. He would have been hurting. He would have been hurting real bad. So, it's an interesting thing. I have noticed that when I sit down to write now, I'm actually writing a lot more. I'm still having a little difficulty gearing up to actually do it. As a matter of fact, I actually did not start writing until about 9:30 last night, but I was done writing in about an hour. I actually cranked out about 1,000 words in an hour, which kind of surprised me. I didn't even think I was saying that much until I looked at the word count, and I was like, oh, that's quite a lot. So I'm still hesitant about getting started on the writing, but once I get into it, I really seem to be doing a lot of it, and I think a lot of it is due to just writing a different story at the same time I was working at the novel, and shifting the creative juices back and forth a little bit. When I write a recap, I try to be creative, but at the same time, it's not always as creative as an endeavor as you would imagine. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of having to go back over certain scenes. That's one of the beauties of having access to TV shows online within like 24 hours after you watch them, is that you can actually bring it up and run through a scene to make certain you get things right. But when you're recapping, it's pretty cut and dry. You can throw your opinions in there, but quite frankly, there's not a whole hell of a lot of imagination that goes into having to do this stuff. Not like when you're writing, not like when you're creating a story. And I know that when you've been working on the same thing for a long time, and for me, I've been literally working on the same set of stories for 4 years now, you do tend to get a little burned out with it. So, writing The Calling helped get the creative juices flowing a little bit again, in the sense that it pushed things out of the side. Now, I know there are novelists who in the past said, once you start on a work, don't stop. And the thing of it is, I didn't stop. There were a couple of nights when I passed on writing on a novel, and it was generally because I wrote 1,500 words or so from The Calling, but I didn't stop it. I didn't put it aside. I kept moving forward with it. So I guess it's safe to say that if you suddenly find yourself getting kind of bogged down in a story, if you find yourself getting to where you don't necessarily enjoy what you're doing, and let's face it, as a lot of you who are writers know, writing is a job. It's work. There's no getting away from that one. It is work. And like with any job, like with any work, after a while, you kind of get burned out on it. Because doing the same thing over and over, it does tend to get a bit sticky. So I would recommend that. I would recommend that if you find yourself getting stuck in a story, maybe starting like something short. Of course, The Calling was 27,600 words, so for me, short. And that might be a good exercise in the future. The nice thing about the Calling was I knew there had to be 31 scenes, because technically speaking, you were supposed to write 1 scene per day. I didn't. Sometimes I wrote 2 scenes a day to catch up. A couple of times I did that. And I didn't get the last scene out until a couple of days after the end of May. And that was generally because of a lot of different things going on, like roller derby. But maybe set a goal. Instead of doing word sprints, set a goal of saying, I'm going to write 7 scenes in 7 days and turn it into a coherent story. And I'm going to limit my word count to 1,000 words or less, so that by the end of 7 days you have, at a maximum, a 7,000 word story. At a minimum, maybe 5,000 words. Maybe even 3,500, because you're only doing 500 words a night. This is something I think I will try again in the future if I feel as if, I'm feeling that burnout coming. Just pants something and you know me, I'm not a pantser. So for me to sit down and just write something from scratch without really thinking it over, that was quite an experience. Now, of course, as the days went on, by the time I was about 8 or 9 days into it, I'd already figured out an ending, and that ending was not an ending that showed up. There's actually a completely different ending, and I realized that it's something that could be done for next Mermaid. So I could do a continuation of Kamina and Penny and find out, where exactly their lives are going and where they have gone. In fact, I could see it being done in 3 parts. This was the start. Next year could be the middle, and then, of course, the year after could be the end. We're finally getting to get to the resolution, and we know, given that Penny's going to live a long time, you can kind of figure out what the resolution's going to be. It's liable to be pretty sad. That's the only way the story could end, is on a note of sadness. Go ahead, sue me. We were even talking about that, about how the original story, The Little Mermaid, was just this unending horror show at the end. It really was, and it had such a downer ending, the original ending, that the editors who were responsible for publishing Hans Christian Andersen's work forced him to add a happy ending. So if you read The Little Mermaid and they talk about how, she dissolved in the sea foam and then ascended into the heavens, that whole ascending into the heaven thing was kind of written under duress. Hans Christian Andersen did not want to write that and was pretty much told that, the story is just too bleak, dude. You gotta fix this. So, he threw that in at the last to get it published, but that's not the original ending. The original ending was basically, she suffers, she crawls back into the ocean, she dies and turns into sea foam. The end. The perfect story to read to your kids as they're going to bed. God, he was bleak. Oh man, he was bleak. I read The Little Match Girl once. That was all. Once. I was like, oh my God. Am I glad there are not any sharp objects nearby. I mean, seriously. Oh my God. I can't imagine getting that stuff for your kid. Letting them read it. It's a horror story. Jesus. Yeah, the Little Mermaid also delves into almost like murder, because it's poor Little Mermaid. Just because she wanted to bang some dude. Stay in the ocean, Ariel. Just stay in the ocean. It's much better where it's wetter. Oh boy. I assure you, my stories will not get, well, maybe I shouldn't make any assurances. Because I've already been told I'm being too mean to my kids. It's like Carrie's got a broken arm, Annie's got a broken arm. Carrie's almost died twice, 3 times actually, if you think about it. Annie's almost died once. When they were in their puppets, they were both murdered. Yeah, so they got to experience death as a puppet. Oh boy. The big snap. So here they are, 13 and 14 years old, and they've already been through a world of shit. And yes, I did. Rennie told me I was being too mean. How can you do this to Carrie? You're so mean, Cassie. I'm just a bitch. What do you want? Oh boy. So, well, that's actually a fast 20 minutes. Let's stretch this out to 25. But if you think I'm being mean to my kids now, wait till we get part two of the novel, which is called Seasons of Hell. There's a reason it's called that. Let's name this section of the book something that's going to be, that will denote how light and airy and peaceful and happy this section of the story is going to be. What do you want to call it? How about Seasons of Hell? That works for me. Yeah, if the middle part of my novel is called Seasons of Hell, don't expect it to be pretty. It's probably not going to be the kind of hell you would expect, but let's put it this way. There's going to be tears. There's going to be pain. You think Carrie having a broken arm now is bad? Just wait. Oh, you guys are gonna hate me. You guys are gonna be like, Cassie, God, I don't believe you did that. Yeah, believe it. I think I stated like over a year ago that this part of the book coming up was going to be like the worst part of their lives, pretty much ever. And when I mean ever up to that point. Believe me, it'll get worse at some point. Yeah, it'll be the worst part of their life ever, up to that point. We're not talking about the future. Yeah, I'm just a crazy bitch, what can I say? So, yes, get ready for the pain. Get ready for all sorts of crazy stuff that could happen. We'll see. You never know. But the one thing you have to know about my kids is no matter how much torture porn I put them through, they persevere. Yet they persist, and they will persist, and they will persevere. They're gonna die at some point, but will it happen in any of these novels? Hey, Harry Potter died. Oh wait, he came back to life too. Maybe I could do the same thing. I mean, you already know there are resurrection centers. So if a witch dies, they can get him to a resurrection center and bring him back to life. Even after a couple of days. Yeah. Do we really want to go there? Do you really think I want to go there? I don't know. I don't think I want to go to the Resurrection Center, at least not yet. But there's some bad times coming. Worse than what you've seen already. So, 24 minutes. Got 1 minute to go. I'm going to run this down. Like I said, tomorrow you'll get an excerpt of the new scene. Saturday I'll do an auto excerpt. You may even get an excerpt on Sunday. I haven't decided yet. And then the following Monday I get right back into the swing of things. And I have 2 days of roller girl practice, so you know, I'm looking forward to it. By the way, you're going to see more roller derby stuff show up on the blog because I was contacted by my teammates who said, hey, can we use your blog for some advertising? I said, why not? So you might see something pop up on the side one of these days leading to our website. Don't be surprised. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.